Is Nashor's tooth a fake item on Twisted Fate? Can you be best friends with a disco ball? And is Inspiring Epitaph potentially broken? Welcome to the second episode of the TFT Mythbuster series for set 10. Let's get started. First up, let's discuss a returning augment for set 10, Best Friends. This used to be one of the more popular positional augments we had in TFT. It grants an attack speed and armor buff to every unit that has exactly one partner. The requirement is easy to fulfill and gives you a great amount of flexibility compared to something like Keepers. The first myth states, you can be best friends with a disco ball. So the idea here is that the movable disco ball on your board acts as a unit and could potentially interfere with the best friend condition. This is very easy to test. All we need is the augment, some disco units, and some invisible disco balls. Yeah, unfortunately, when I recorded the segment, the disco balls only became visible during combat, but it shouldn't make any difference for this myth. In this setup, we have a Yasuo with an Eco in the front line, Nami, Gnar, Kennen in the back, and we add Gragas to activate the disco trait. The ball goes next to Nami and Kennen, and we can see that at least in the planning phase, we still have the golden circle animation that they remain best friends. Combat starts, the disco ball finally appears, and if we click on Nami, we can see that she has plus 20 armor, which means that the disco ball did not interfere with this augment, and the myth is busted. As a bonus, some of you might be wondering if the same applies to Illaoi tentacles and target dummies. I tested both interactions and I can confirm that you can use them to get more value out of best friends. I mean, look at these two dummies. Aren't they the cutest? Or isn't it nice that a backliner like Seraphine can be best friends with a tentacle? Moving on, for our second myth, let's take a look at the augment Inspiring Epitaph. When you have this augment and a unit dies, the nearest ally will receive a shield and stacking attack speed. The myth states, Inspiring Epitaph doesn't work with summoned units. So for this myth, we have to differentiate between two types of units. The ones that are present at the start of combat and the ones that are summoned by an ability or trait. First of all, we have to check if the augment even works with Illaoi tentacles or target dummies before we go any further. In this fight, we have both the tentacles and the crash test dummies to sacrifice in the front. If we freeze at the right moment, we can see that the nearest ally to a tentacle or target dummy will in fact receive the shield from the augment. Not only that, they are viable targets to receive a shield as well. So for now we can confirm that everything works for non-summoned allies. As you might know, Illaoi is capable of resurrecting her tentacles, but they are technically not the same as the ones that started the fight. Here we can see how Illaoi will respawn the left tentacle after it's taken out. Once it dies, Illaoi does not receive any shields. Later into the fight, she casts again, and while Vex will receive a shield from Illaoi dying, neither Vex nor Ani receive a shield from the spawn tentacle. Inspiring Epitaph does not work with summoned units, and the myth is confirmed. For our last myth, I want to investigate Twisted Fate, who is a 4-cost Disco Dazzler AP carry. He has a unique ability that also scales with attack speed. According to his description, he will throw an additional card for every 40% bonus attack speed. But how does this interact with the item Nashor's Tooth that grants attack speed after casting? The myth states, Nashor's Tooth does not increase Twisted Fate's first cast. So the idea behind this myth is that Twisted Fate has a snapshot system that checks his attack speed when he casts, and the bonus attack speed from Nashor won't increase his damage. This was a bit of a pain to test, but this is the setup I decided to go for. We have two Twisted Fates, one has a Nashor's Tooth and the other one has two Ionic Sparks. This ensures that both of them have exactly 30 ability power. In this fight, Twisted Fate is supposed to throw 21 cards, each dealing 65 damage to the dragon. We just have to count the damage for each of them and then we know how many cards were thrown. One Twisted Fate dealt a total of 1495 magic damage and the other one dealt 1365. Divide this number by 65 and we have 23 cards versus 21 cards. This means Nashor's Tooth did in fact increase the card count and the myth is busted. But wait a minute, why did he have 2 cards more? Nashor's Tooth only grants 40% attack speed and therefore it should only be 1 additional card. Well, it turns out that Twisted Fate has a really weird thing going on. If you check out his attack speed, then you can see that he receives plus 10% attack speed from a bow component and 12% from the augment You Have My Bow, for a total of 22% increased attack speed. Apparently, the game rounds this number up and increases his card amount. Further testing did confirm this theory. For the amount of cards, 21% attack speed is the same as 60% attack speed. If you go higher than 60%, it will round up again. And this is exactly what happened in my example. Twisted Fate with the Nashor's Tooth had a total of 62% attack speed, which increased his card amount by 2. I'm not sure how intended this interaction is, but time will tell in the end. For now, I'm just happy that 3 more myths are down and many more to go. If you like this video, why not subscribe and support this channel? I hope you learned something and see you next time.